Something haunted my childhood home. I grew up in an old farmhouse built in the 1800s. It was beautiful in its own way. Creaky hardwood floors, tall, drafty windows, and a sprawling porch that sagged slightly with age. To anyone else, it might have seemed quaint. To me, it was a living nightmare. The house never felt empty, even when it was. Footsteps echoed through the hallways at odd hours, long after everyone had gone to bed. My dad would blame it on the house settling, but houses don't settle like that. Doors would creak open on their own. Small items, keys, books, a hairbrush, would disappear and reappear in the strangest places. One night, I woke up to the sound of footsteps coming from the hallway. I remember being frozen in fear, listening intently to the creaking of the floorboards. The slow, deliberate steps moved closer to my room, each one making my chest tighten. Finally, I mustered the courage to slowly open my door and peer through the crack. But there was nothing there. The sound had stopped. The hallway was still. Too still. My little brother Tommy refused to sleep in his room. Every night he'd crawl into bed with me or our parents, clutching his blanket and muttering about the man in the corner. I never saw this man, but the way Tommy described him, tall, shadowy, with no face, was enough to keep me up at night. And then there was the basement. The basement was the heart of the house's darkness. I avoided it at all costs. Concrete walls, floors that always seemed damp no matter how dry it was outside, and a single flickering light bulb that cast long, eerie shadows. It was the kind of place that felt alive. One night, Mom set me down to grab some potatoes for dinner. I hesitated, but I couldn't refuse. As I descended the narrow wooden stairs, the temperature dropped noticeably. My breath fogged in front of me, and the air felt heavy. The light bulb flickered as I reached the bottom, and I swore I could hear faint whispers. I told myself it was my imagination. "Just grab the potatoes and get out," I whispered, my voice shaky. As I turned to leave, I felt it. Something brushed against my shoulder. It wasn't a breeze, and it wasn't my imagination. It felt deliberate, almost curious. I screamed, dropping the bag of potatoes, and bolted up the stairs, slamming the door behind me. My mom scolded me for making a mess, but I didn't care. I refused to go down there again. Years later, when I was 17, we finally moved out. My parents said it was for practical reasons, too much upkeep, too far from town, but I secretly believed they felt it too. The house didn't want us there. Even now, as an adult, I can't shake the memories. I thought about driving by, maybe even stopping to talk to the family that lives there now. I'd like to think we were imagining it all, that it was just an overactive childhood fear, but deep down, I know better. That house wasn't just haunted, it was alive. And whatever lives there, it isn't done.